from aid to trade. We've heard a lot about this phrase in the last few weeks, if not months. I first heard about this phrase in March when the US policy on Africa came out. It is called the America First in Africa policy. But South Korea has entered the chat last week. Last week, there was a 2-day summit. African foreign ministers converged in Seoul, capital of South Korea, and met with the South Korean government. There was talk of AI and knowledge transfer in the final communiques. And I think it was in preparation for a summit that's going to take place later this year. But the bottom line, securing the 17 rare earths, which we are going to continue hearing about. And South Korea being actively involved now, making sure that its supply chains, they grow and they are predictable. I think this is connected, of course, to this idea, the Western Hemisphere of turning into a back to a US dominance, kind of like a right of refusal, so to speak, by the United States. And some of these countries, especially in East Asia, have been thinking, hey, maybe our reliance on a diversified portfolio of sources for our rare earths and other things like cobalt, maybe we should just focus on Africa. But most important, 3 models are emerging by which these East Asian countries have promulgated their multilateral engagement with the African continent. China is still right here and has, in a way, written the rules on these multilateral engagements with the African continent, such that, or even this current administration in the US, a commercial diplomacy, that is straight out of the Beijing consensus. This idea that states must not shy away from leading the commercial interest of its champion organizations or companies, which China has done. And also, China has evolved its engagement with the African continent. This year, 2020, has been declared the year of the people-to-people relations between China and the African people, which means China has recognized we can do all the building we want. We can get all the resources that we want, and we've cornered the market in the processing of these 17 rare earths. Done deal. But we still have a lot of work to do because big powers win hearts and minds. And so we still increase our soft power. And that's when this idea then of people-to-people relation becomes important. Japan, on the other hand, that's the second kind of model, has often engaged with the African continent on a very aid-based base. But South Korea kind of in the middle, straight commercial. And it's new in the game, so it's learning a lot, but it has the advantage of having China has a model from which to learn by the mistakes that China may have. And it also has looked at Japan. We're kind of not going to focus much on aid. We're going to focus on trade and securing this. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung has actually declared the 17 rare earths as a national security assets, which means there is a big impetus that we may expect. South Korea has a defined objective and the rare earths, and it's in a way good because you know exactly what they want, but it's not interested, at least yet, in these holistic relations that China has indicated it is.